So I think we're in an observation revolution currently. Our ability to gather data is dramatically increasing. We have Hi, I'm Bill Dennison. I'm at the University of Maryland Center for Environmental Science, and I gave a plenary talk at the 21st International Riversymposium in Sydney, Australia. My talk was about creating and communicating environmental intelligence. So what do I mean by environmental intelligence? I mean it's the ability to acquire and apply environmental knowledge. And it's a way of perceiving your surroundings. And the word environment comes from a French word, environ, meaning surrounding. Intelligence comes from a Latin word, intelligere, which means to comprehend or perceive. So there are 4 steps that I see in building environmental intelligence. The first step is what I call the observation revolution, and that's where our data gathering capacities are dramatically increasing. We have more sensors, satellites to observe the environment than ever before. The second is information generation, taking that flood of data, and that data in a raw form is like trying to take a drink out of a fire hose. It's just too much. So we need capacity for data analysis, which is something that is increasing. We have GIS now, we have big data gathering capacity, we have models that incorporate lots of data. And the third step in building environmental intelligence is knowledge building. And that's where we're getting better at synthesis and visualization techniques. So we have synthesis centers like the National Center for Ecological Analysis and Synthesis, Santa Barbara, California. We have our National Socio-Environmental Synthesis Center in Annapolis, the University of Maryland runs. And we also have developed lots of science visualization techniques and tools. Finally, problem solving with environmental intelligence comes about when we have good science effectively communicated in a timely manner. And some examples of those that I go through are report cards, environmental report cards, which are these transparent techniques to synthesize large amounts of data and communicate to a broad public audience. And we have ways of taking various social, economic, and environmental data and incorporating them together to make the story ring true. So one of the activities that we have that followed my plenary is a little activity we call brainwaves, and that's where we do stakeholder mapping and for river basin report cards. And what we do is we do this play acting, so we role playing. So we have people represent different sectors, and it turns out there are lots of different knowledge streams that need to be merged or melded together to be effective in developing report cards. For example, there's the scientist that comes in with data and understanding of their research. There's park rangers that manage the natural resources that have insights there. There's the monitoring scientists that collect data and are out there on a regular basis. There's the local elected officials like the mayors, who have knowledge about how governance works in the system. There are corporate players, and they have knowledge about how business and corporate interest work in the system. The treasurers will know something about the economics. The health officials will know about the human health dimensions of the situation. Community leaders provide social knowledge. Artists provide emotional knowledge. Fishermen and people who are out have observational knowledge. Local elders have indigenous knowledge. The reporters, the news media, they have communication knowledge, and long-term residents that have sort of a historical perspective that's unique. So it's melding those different knowledge streams together that we find the most powerful way to build broad environmental intelligence. So one of the important parts about environmental intelligence is effectively communicating it in a timely manner. So we need to get that good science and be able to tell that story effectively. So what we need to rely on are two key features of our evolution as humans. And those two key features are that we are very much visual animals. Our brain is processing lots of visual data. So we need good visualizations. And secondly, we need to tell stories because that's how we process things. So we're hardwired now through our evolution of telling stories and seeing visualizations. And we've got there's MRI evidence of how our brains work that show that this response to visuals and the response to storytelling is very powerful. And so we need to tap into that to be effective as science communicators, to take our environmental intelligence and spread that to the broad public audiences.